When you reach 60 years and beyond, the question of who will truly stand by your side demands critical examination. In youth and middle age, the assumption tends to be that family and close friends will always provide reliable support. This assumption, however, becomes increasingly fragile with age. Life's inevitable changes, shifts in priorities, increasing responsibilities of others, health declines, and social transformations expose the limits of depending primarily on others for essential support. This detailed text unpacks 6 foundational pillars of support that prove more reliable than family or traditional social networks after 60. These pillars define a structural base for independence, resilience, and stability in the later stages of life. Understanding and actively developing these pillars is imperative to avoid vulnerability, powerlessness, or dependency that might otherwise arise. Pillar 1. Financial stability. The most dependable form of support beyond age 60 is financial stability. Unlike human relationships, which fluctuate and are subject to competing demands and constraints, financial resources can be managed, controlled, and preserved through deliberate planning. Relying on family members for financial support is inherently unstable. Adult children typically carry their own financial burdens: mortgage, childcare, education costs, and retirement planning. Their capacity to assist parents financially fluctuates based on their own circumstances. A 72-year-old man, Richard, illustrates this reality. Having invested in his children's education and lent money during their times of need, he expected reciprocal support during his medical crisis. Instead, he found his children burdened by their own expenses, unable to provide assistance. This example underscores the unpredictability and risk in assuming family financial support. Financial stability entails more than accumulating wealth. It demands disciplined budgeting, risk management, emergency fund creation, and investment in secure income streams, such as pensions or annuities. It requires a strategic approach to minimize debt and avoid financial risks that could jeopardize independence. To evaluate your financial preparedness, answer these questions. Do I have liquid savings covering at least 6 months of essential expenses? Is my retirement income reliable and sufficient to cover unexpected costs? Have I minimized exposure to high-risk investments or debt obligations? And, do I have a clear, actionable financial plan tailored to potential future health or lifestyle changes? If any answers are negative, immediate action is necessary. Seek professional financial advice, create a strict budget, reduce unnecessary expenses, and secure diversified income sources. Financial security is not a luxury reserved for the wealthy, but a necessity to ensure autonomy and avoid burdening others. It serves as a buffer against unforeseen life events and grants freedom of choice, fundamentally protecting your capacity to act and decide independently. Pillar 2. Physical health. Health is non-negotiable. No financial resource or social relationship substitutes for physical capability. After 60, the body's resilience diminishes and maintenance requires deliberate, consistent effort. Family members cannot exercise for you, manage your diet, or reverse physiological decline. Though they may care, the practical responsibility for sustaining health rests solely with the individual. Neglecting this responsibility leads to rapid decline, increased dependence, and reduced quality of life. Carl's case exemplifies this. At 68, after retirement, he ceased regular physical activity, assuming he could resume fitness later. Instead, his energy and mobility deteriorated quickly. Family visits were sporadic and insufficient to compensate. Only after confronting these losses did he recommit to daily exercise and nutritional discipline, regaining partial independence. Sustaining health post-60 involves engaging in daily physical activity tailored to capability walking, stretching, balance exercises. Adopting a diet rich in nutrients and low in processed foods and harmful substances. Regular medical checkups focused on early detection and management of chronic conditions and monitoring and addressing warning signs: persistent pain, fatigue, mobility reduction without delay. This proactive approach to health preserves functional independence, delays or prevents disability, and reduces reliance on caregivers or institutions. Pillar 3. Social circle. Social isolation presents significant risks after 60, undermining mental health, cognitive function, and longevity. The size and quality of one's social network become critical determinants of well-being. With age, friends relocate, pass away, or reduce contact. Family involvement often decreases due to geographic distance, personal responsibilities, or limited capacity. Expecting family alone to provide companionship is impractical and hazardous to emotional health. Margaret's story highlights this. At 73, she experienced growing loneliness as her two sons, despite love and concern, became less available. She countered this by reconnecting with old friends, joining community groups, and cultivating new social opportunities. This expanded network supplied consistent interaction, emotional engagement, and a sense of belonging. Intentional efforts to maintain and expand social connections are necessary. Regular participation in community organizations, clubs, or hobby groups, developing new friendships through shared interests or volunteer work, maintaining casual, frequent contact with neighbors or acquaintances, and utilizing technology for communication when physical proximity is limited. A diversified social network offers multiple sources of emotional support, reduces loneliness, stimulates cognitive function, and enhances quality of life. Pillar 4. Sense of purpose. A defined sense of purpose is a powerful internal resource that sustains motivation, sharpens cognition, and stabilizes emotional states. Without it, the loss of traditional roles, work, caregiving, parenting leads to aimlessness, depression, and disengagement. Purpose is not transferable. No degree of family love replaces the existential necessity of having a reason to engage daily with life. George's experience demonstrates this. Retired at 70, he initially welcomed leisure but soon found his days empty and meaningless. Volunteering as a mentor restored his sense of value, engagement, and mental clarity. Purpose can be cultivated through pursuing passions or hobbies that provide intrinsic satisfaction, volunteering or mentoring to contribute to others' well-being, lifelong learning to maintain cognitive activity, and setting personal goals, whether creative, physical, or intellectual. Investing in purpose mitigates risks of cognitive decline and emotional instability, strengthening resilience against aging's psychological challenges. Pillar 5. Emotional resilience. Emotional resilience is the capacity to process, adapt to, and recover from psychological stressors without external crutches. It is the internal fortification enabling stability through grief, loss, illness, and isolation. Relying on family for emotional stability is unreliable. They face their own challenges, limiting availability or capacity for sustained support. Helen's case is instructive. After 40 years of marriage, she lost her husband. Initial reliance on her children's support was necessary but insufficient long-term. She developed resilience through support groups, journaling, and gratitude practice, cultivating an internal capacity for healing. This involves acknowledging and processing emotions honestly rather than suppressing them, creating regular outlets for self-expression, writing, meditation, therapy, practicing acceptance of life's realities without fatalism, and building coping mechanisms to navigate stress and uncertainty. Emotional resilience ensures autonomy in emotional regulation, reducing dependency and enhancing psychological endurance. Pillar 6. Adaptability. Change is the only constant, particularly in later life. Adaptability is not passive acceptance but active engagement with new circumstances, challenges, and opportunities. Resistance to change results in stagnation, isolation, and decline. Frank, 78, initially felt lost when his friends moved or passed away. Instead of accepting isolation, he adapted by learning digital communication, joining online groups, and forming new connections. Adaptability entails embracing new technologies and methods of communication, remaining curious and open to learning, seeking alternative pathways when previous routines or relationships shift, and maintaining flexibility in expectations and attitudes. Adaptability underpins all other pillars by enabling continual renewal, growth, and engagement regardless of external conditions. Conclusion. The self-built foundation of stability. After 60, the 6 pillars: financial stability, physical health, social circle, sense of purpose, emotional resilience, and adaptability constitute the true support system for those over 60, family, and friends. Remain valuable but unreliable as sole sources of support. This foundation prevents dependence, vulnerability, and powerlessness. It enables autonomous navigation of aging's complexities and challenges. Preparing and reinforcing these pillars constitutes a rational, necessary strategy for securing stability and dignity in later life. The measure of preparedness is proactive, deliberate action in each domain. Reliance on hope or external availability is a strategic failure. If you are loving our guide, do like, share, and subscribe our channel.